Hey, what's going on, guys? GFXLab, and this is another episode of Mindcraft, Mindcraft, and that's the way I spell it because it is a combination of my mind and playing Minecraft. So there you go. That is my interpretation of what my videos are all about. And I don't know, guys. But it has been a while. It's been a while since I've done a video. I think that, I should have definitely just kept up doing all these videos like every day or something. I think it'll be cool. So I'll try and do as many videos as I can for you guys. I'll try and just keep up and post videos, because that is what YouTube's for, is to post videos. And I think you guys enjoy these. So I definitely don't want to let you guys down. I want you guys to have fun along with me. Oh man, what is he doing? Look at that, there's a skeleton over there. I don't want him to break my door. My sword's about to go out too. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Whoa, there's so many of them. Wow, 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 wow. Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? No. I need to make a new sword before I die. Wow, the mobs are like way more aggressive now. They were never that aggressive. Oh, and I have another sword. I don't need another one. I'll use this sword so I don't use it up. Man, I would have died right there. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys today about the idea. Well, actually, I just want to talk to you guys about just some recent things that I've been thinking about. And I don't know what I'll call this one. Maybe I'll call it, the idea I thought about was transparency, but I don't know if it actually fits the theme, because I'll probably have to save that theme for another day. But basically, what I've been thinking about was the influence of Twitter and the influence of the internet on everybody, and the way that people are getting destroyed. It's becoming a huge thing. Is like, there's cyberbullying people are talking about. There's all these crazy things that are happening, and and a lot of people don't understand how to handle the internet. A lot of people don't understand how to be, how to control all this information. It's so easy to see all this information too, which is crazy. There's people have cell phones now. Oh, and if you guys haven't noticed, I built these towers out. And I was just filling them up with some of these little fire sticks, so that I could so that there's no more monster spawning. But what I was thinking about was like the information and how it's being mistreated, and how people are just like, how people don't understand how other people work. So there's a lot of people who put content out there, right? And there's a lot of people who go out and judge those people for putting that content out there. And to me, I know that whenever I post videos, and I learned this from a few people that I watch, that helped me grow and that have helped me with my videos. I know that whenever I post a video, I have to make sure that everything is done right. That if I post like a song or something, I have to take my time and clean up all the little mistakes, clean up everything so that it becomes super clear on the idea of the song. Otherwise, people are gonna get confused by the idea, or they'll get confused by something in the video, and then they're just gonna cling on to that, and they're gonna like post a video, comment about it. Like, say I mess up, like on the Minecraft rap song, I said Minecraft.com instead of Minecraft.net, and all I saw was like hundreds of comments of people saying, you said Minecraft.com, it's Minecraft.net. And it's one thing if like one person said it and I was like, oh, that's funny, I messed up, whatever. But to see like 100 comments over and over and over saying it, that's me like I just think like, wow, like people didn't really. I just sit there and say, like, did people not watch the video? or were they just looking for the one thing that they could hate on? And then I started going through the emotions of like, why do I even post videos? Why do I do this? And why, those are the thoughts that like run through my mind real fast. And it's not like they don't sit on my mind for real long, but they do go through my mind really fast. And I don't think I have any food anywhere, so I'm gonna have to go out and go hunting or something. But yeah, those are the kind of things that happen to a YouTuber. And YouTubers, we all know this. We all know, like that you have to be absolutely clear with your videos. You have to make sure that everything you do in your video is absolutely flawless. Otherwise, you're just going to see 100 comments about, how somebody saw a flaw in your video. And it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with everything. And that's something that I've always thought about, like, why don't I just turn off comments? Because then I'll never have to be exposed to that. But if you don't get exposed to that, you'll never refine your videos. You'll never sit there and like think about it. And some parts of me think like, maybe I shouldn't even worry about that. Maybe I should just do what I want to do and whatever I feel like doing, just post it and all that. But at the same time, that's the point of being a good YouTuber really is being able to take all that criticism, being able to understand that that's going to happen, and then being able to deal with it the next time you post a video. And that's a really tough thing to do sometimes. But at the same time, it's not that big a deal because it's just YouTube. But, well, think about like what do you do when you go to school, or when you go and you do something else that actually matters. And what is this guy? He's got like a helmet on. Give me that helmet. Can I get his helmet? Oh man. He actually had a helmet. That was cool. I haven't played Minecraft in a really long time. But like I said, people, it's just the basic idea of delivering content to people. Content being, whoa, I hate these guys so much. Content being, people that just feed other people ideas, basically. And an idea can be an idea can be a song, an idea can be food, an idea can be anything that pretty much guarantees that people are going to give feedback on. And I am a designer in real life, so I have been around the idea of content for a really long time, but I've never grasped the idea of how to handle it. And recently I got to work with a guy who's taught me about user interface design and user experience, and now I understand how people understand content that's given to them. And I think I might have food in here. Let's see. But content that's given to them, like how to design a website where things are placed in a way that there's only one way to understand it, and there's only one way to really enjoy it. And one idea, or one thing that I've seen, I saw this documentary. I don't remember what it was called. Maybe it was called Freakonomics or something. I don't remember what it was called. It might have been Freakonomics. I've seen so many documentaries, but this documentary in particular was talking about user interface and its influence on the world. Now there is this tool or whatever. There's this machine that people use on babies, and basically it clears babies of jaundice. And jaundice is something to do with the liver, where like the liver doesn't work like it's supposed to, and then the babies get all the poisons and the toxins in their blood don't get cleaned out by the liver. So what happens is they end up having getting in really bad shape, and this there's this machine that they built, that this company built, that basically clears up the baby's jaundice. It clears up their, the toxin that happens, and it's a particular toxin that can get destroyed by this certain instrument and this certain beam that this light emits, and it just looks like a blue light, really. And it basically looks like a heat lamp with a blue light on it, and they put the baby under it, and it's not designed for humans, right? It's designed strictly for humans, but the design around the actual machine is not designed for humans. And I will explain what I mean by that. And I want to tell you guys the quote that I've seen recently, and the quote makes a lot of sense. And the quote is that humans are design that is not created for humans will be ignored by humans. And for me, that has been a running theme in everything that I do in YouTube, and just in general. People think like that they can get away with videos being subpar, right? They think that they can just create content and that it'll magically become the next great thing. Actually, I'll collect these too. People think like, I spent like 10 hours rendering this video so that this video and it deserves to have 1 million views, and I spent like however many days or whatever months doing this montage, and I edited it and it only got 10,000 views, and I'm gonna go kill myself now. Well, the thing is, like, you probably made the montage, you probably thought the techniques you used were probably really great, and you probably got all the stuff right in your video editing, but you created it where it looks pretty much like every other montage that's out there. There's no unique originality in the montage. So what you have to do is you have to take those clips and redo them and do them in a way where it actually looks like it was made for, it was made to be something big, not just something. The best montages I've seen are montages that weren't even that. Oh, and I have some pieces here. Oh wait, that's mine. That's my inventory. I'm retarded. I gotta go and find some coal. I have coal back in the main house. But yeah. So design that's made for humans is design that doesn't get ignored by humans. And so going back to this machine, this jaundice machine, this company that designed this machine, they were like baffled because these big companies that are like these big major hospitals did not want this machine anywhere in their office or in their hospital because it didn't look right. It didn't look like a modern machine, but it was the most modern machine for that, whatever that condition is for babies. But no one wanted to buy it. No investors wanted it because it looked terrible. It didn't look like something that was really cool looking. So what ends up happening is that this tool goes on the, no one actually wants to buy it, and so what they do is, since they have all these machines and none of these big major hospitals are using it, these major hospitals have other ways of dealing with that condition, which is a much more primitive way or whatever. And but it works. So they have the money to do it, and it's way more expensive to do that procedure, and in the way that however that hospital is going to deal with that. They do it that way. And so what ended up happening was that they sold these machines to Asian countries, and these Asian countries were just buying them up, and and they, putting them in their hospitals, and they still weren't working that well. And they were like, why? Because this has been working for us so well. I don't understand how this is not working for all these Asian hospitals. And what it was the design of the actual machine itself. So the design of the machine was that it had a huge bed, right? So this huge bed was, and I should probably go to bed. This huge bed, really, the idea of the machine was just to have one baby on this. It wasn't a huge bed. It was just, big enough to fit more than one baby in it. And so when they sent it to these Asian countries, no one actually knew how to use it, because they were putting more than one baby in the machine, even though the machine was made for one baby. So the first design change they made to that machine was they made it so that it can't be confused, that you're not supposed to put more than one baby in that machine. So they only made room for one baby. That was the first design change they made, and it was a major breakthrough for them. All they did was change the size of the baby. I mean, the size of the baby bed. That's all they did, and then it changed the machine, and it changed it changed the actual the success rate for the machine in those Asian countries. And then what they did after that, and this is over the course of 10 years. The babies were actually working on babies now, but the thing was like it only had a light that was shooting from the top down, and it was still a bad success rate. It was better, but it still wasn't up to par with what they, because there's 100% rate that it would work at or whatever. And what ended up happening was they needed a way to explain to the doctors that the thing is, like, they still had the problem was that people were putting the baby under the light, but they were putting a blanket, like the mom's first reaction to the machine was putting a blanket on the baby because they thought the baby was cold. So they put a blanket around the baby, and then again it like started failing again. It was still failing. It still wasn't working up to par. So what they did was they put a light not only from the top, but a light from the bottom as well. So this baby was just being shot by all kinds of light. And that was a huge change, another huge change. So it took a while for them to figure these things out. And the next major change was that the baby... actually, after that, there was a huge success rate. It was working really well. And then the last change was getting it, because it was so successful in Asia, all these American companies started wondering, like, hey, what is this machine? It's working over there so well. And then they look at it, and the machine still looks terrible. So they say, oh, it's that machine. So they still don't want to use it, because it looks terrible. It doesn't look like something that someone would want to put their baby in. It looks terrifying. It looks like a monster machine. And that was just the main reason why hospitals didn't want to put it in their hospitals, because it looked like a monster machine. So what they did was they actually hired this company to make a shell for it. And this shell made it look like a modern machine. Like they took away all the rigid edges, and they made it look like a space age machine that, they could put the baby in, and that it would heal the baby. And they made it look like it was a really dark looking machine. So they made it like a light color, like a white, and they made it look space age, and they put all this cool stuff on it. And they put a cool logo. They even changed the logo. And, just these minor things, like, they started saving way more babies. And that is designed for humans. That is an example of designing for humans. You might have, your content might be perfect. The machine worked perfectly. It was the best thing for the baby. But since there was so many people, or since whoever designed that machine was not thinking about making it cool looking, or making the bed size really super manageable, or in a way that, you know, there's the rule of like men never look at instructions, and, you know, things should always be built in a way that there's no way to mess up. There's no way to mess up using whatever tool you're going to use or whatever you're trying to do with whatever, right? So you want to make sure that when you design for humans, you want to make sure that that when you design those things, they should be absolutely clear, without instructions, without anyone. You should be able to look at whatever content you're looking at, whether it's food or maybe it's you know, a video, a montage. There should only be one way to use that content. There should only be one way to enjoy it, or one way to view it or taste it or whatever. And if it's confusing in any way, you need to change the way that you do it. And same thing with websites. It gets real. To me, that's what I'm still learning, is how a user goes through a website. There's a lot of things that, you know, we web designers use. There's things called the fold, which is like usually advertisers talk about the fold, because the fold is like the most the areas of the website where people are using most. And there's a lot of companies out there who pay a lot of money for people to figure out, you know, where the best thing, or where the best placements for ads are, and then, you know, that's where they place them. And that's why you guys always see the same size ads, the same type of ads in the same areas, because those are the best spots for you to see them. Well, so I was thinking about this idea of like content, and how people don't design things, like say for food. The best design of a single food item is the McDonald's hamburger. And the reason I say is because it looks cool, it looks tasty, and it's so easy that anyone can just literally eat it the way they want to. They can pick it up, like, you know, the idea of the hamburger is just like it doesn't make your hands messy. You know, you pick it up and you hold it, and it fits perfectly in your hand. It's circular, so there's no hard edges. It is literally a masterpiece. The McDonald's hamburger is a masterpiece. That's what I'm saying. It's a user interface, user experience masterpiece. It's so easy to figure out how to eat a hamburger. Something like, you know, a crab or something. You think about how do you eat a crab? And there's people who don't know how to eat sushi. Sushi actually is pretty easy to figure out. You just throw it in your mouth, but that's what she said. You know, it's things like, there's just so many things that are so easy to figure out, but just by looking at them. And that to me is like, it's the same thing with music. So people wonder why, like, something like someone like Chief Keef, who's a rapper, and if you guys don't know who he is, he makes this really he has super basic beat. They all sound the same pretty much, all his songs, but all his lyrics are so basic, but they work, you know, and he does them really well. And to me, like, people hate on him, but he is the ultimate idea. He has you know, transparency down to a science. And the way that, you know, people like that make music, and people like bash on them, like, oh, your music's terrible because, you know, you're not making it so intricate like we're used to, or, you know, like no one's gonna listen to this music because maybe it's just not, you know, it's not up to their taste or whatever. But the thing is, like, if it's easy to consume, then that means it was made for the mainstream. It was made for a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to enjoy it. So my goal, and everyone's goal, should be to become more transparent, to be way more, to take criticism, to take all that, not take it to heart, but just take it into consideration and deal with it. Because the more you learn about how to make things more simple and how to make things more easy for people to understand, the easier you're gonna have, you know, creating things in your own life, manifesting things into your own life. And like I said, like, less is more. less is always more. So if you are a designer, look into something like look into Swiss designs, like look into Metro designs. Metro design is all based on content. It's all based on making content beautiful, making everything big, bold, and sexy. That is what the Metro design style is. And that's what I've been going. I've been on a huge Metro style design trend recently, and I've been just designing all my websites, trying to make everything way more transparent, big, bold, and beautiful. And that is the way that's the way I design. If somebody is a chef, make sure that all your food is very basic. You got to go back to the basics. Everyone has to. And I watch a lot of Chef Ramsay, and Chef Ramsay, he has this show where it's called Kitchen Nightmares, and he goes out to these restaurants, and he basically breaks down why their restaurants are failing. And there was one in particular where literally everyone in the kitchen had Michelin stars. The Michelin stars are like the biggest things that you can get as a chef, and they're like a super prestigious award. And all these guys were failing because nobody could read their menu. Like, their menu was in French, and they were like in Ireland, and no one there like hardly ever read French, and they didn't know what things were in the menu. So I'm gonna head back, and then I think I'll be done with this episode. But yeah, like the thing with them was all they had to do was change their menu. They changed their menu to something way more basic. They changed their menu to local Irish food, and they made it like fresh. They made it clean. They actually made a whole different restaurant just because they wanted to keep their crazy like French restaurant, but they also put a new restaurant right next to it that was just super clean, super fresh, super like easy, for locals, and everyone went to it. It became a big hit in that town. And it was just crazy because they had the restaurants right next to each other. And one restaurant, Ramsey was asking, like, do the people actually go to that restaurant? They're like, no one ever goes to that restaurant because no one knows what the food is on the menu. So that is a huge, like, to me, like, if you guys have a chance, I would say go and check out those shows, because to me that is the very core idea of what I'm talking about in this episode of Minecraft is transparency, making things for humans, making things super basic and easy for people to understand. If you're gonna do commentaries, do commentaries. Don't try and make the idea of your commentaries too hard to understand. Just like take for instance, like people who just talk about the gameplay. That's real basic. It's always going to be fresh because the gameplay is not always going to be the same. The game isn't going to play the same all the time. And that's what people love about this game. I mean, not this game, but actually this game especially, because you never know what's going to happen. There could be creepers. There could be all kinds of stuff happening. You could get attacked by, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's why this game is amazing. But also in Call of Duty or a game like that, there's always going to be something different. And it's even though it's the same game and the same rules and the same things apply, the game's not going to change. Like, the game itself is not going to change the rules of the game, but what happens in the game does change, and that's what people love. And that's, the same thing in life. You never know what's going to happen. All you have to do is listen. The best thing you can do is listen to everything that's happening and then react to it. And if you do that in your videos and you make it a really basic idea, you just sit there, listen to what's happening in the gameplay, pay attention, and you do it in a funny and exciting, new, fresh way, then you're going to be successful. And that's what all these successful channels do, is they just sit there, react, and deal with whatever's happening in the game. So in this episode, I made those towers. Like, I made all these built all these towers out. I don't know what I should build in here. Maybe I should build like some more little houses, or maybe I should connect all the 4 towers over here. Something, I don't know, something cool. I gotta think about that. But or maybe I could just put a roof over this whole thing. That'd be kind of cool, like a big roof. I don't know. I'll think about something. But I hope you guys have an epic day, epic night. This has been another episode of Minecraft. I will definitely try and post a lot more Minecraft a lot more often, and I'll definitely like switch between the 3 different worlds that I have, so that it's not always the same world and you guys can enjoy a new one. Maybe I'll just start a new world every time. I thought about that, but I kind of want to build like just, I don't know, I'll just do whatever. Maybe sometimes I'll do a new world just so we can go cave exploring, and also have some new caves in that other new. I started a let's play of a Minecraft series, but I think that I like to just keep it to Minecraft and just keep this series going. And I hope you guys have an epic day, epic night, and peace out, guys.